We are having some other results come in right now as we speak. Hallie Shoffner has taken it 82% to Ethan Dunbar 18%. And then another one, Governor Democrat Fred Love 83%. So they're coming in.
They are, and no real surprises as of yet, at least in terms of those races. Let's get over to Journey Taylor, as the now Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate is with her right now.
For a second, when I was sitting in my seat looking at the results come in, and I started hearing cheers, and my photographer Bree Conyer said, "Hey, Hallie is over there hugging people. You might want to check the results." And as called, she has won that Democratic seat for the U.S. Senate. I'm actually here with her now. How are you feeling at this moment?
Oh my gosh. Overwhelmed, grateful, humbled. I am just so honored that the people of Arkansas have chosen me to run this race.
Yeah, I just talked to you, I guess 30 minutes ago. You said, "I'm nervous."
Of course. I've never done this before.
Yeah, still feeling a little nervous about going into November?
No, I feel elated. I mean, I'm ready to take it to the mat. This is what we've been fighting for these last 8 months, is to really be able to make some change for the people of Arkansas, and this is our chance.
Absolutely. We do know that it's also been called on the Republican side. Tom Cotton, the incumbent here in this opportunity. Do you still feel the same about being a representative of Arkansas and with Tom living in Virginia? What are your thoughts?
Oh, 100%. Let's just be honest here. Tom Cotton is a resident of Virginia. He does not represent the people of Arkansas. Arkansans are ready for someone like me, someone who's got dirt under their fingernails, someone who is close to the problem, someone who is willing to take it to the mat every single day on the Senate floor to fight for them.
What's next? We have a couple months into the general election. What's next for you?
This is a shoe leather game. I'm going to put 10 toes into every single community in Arkansas. I'm going to shake as many hands as possible. We simply have to get out there and give the people of Arkansas the opportunity to believe in ourselves again.
Yeah, I know we've been in and out of the newscast tonight, but I want to be clear to those at home. We are at the Democratic Party of Arkansas right now. What is your message for the rest of the candidates? Feeling pride right now for what's ahead?
I really think at the end of the day, and this is going to be for Democrats and Republicans, we all have to be able to do what is right here. And what is right is to help the people of Arkansas, the families who are right now just holding it together with sheer force of will and grit and faith. And we are taking it to the mat for them. And I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it is time to do the right thing by those families.
All right, anything else you want to add or say?
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Go big or go home, right?
Yes, all right, let's go is what she said, and we hear it loud and clear. And of course, we're going to continue to talk to you leading up to November as well. We also plan to talk to the incumbent, Tom Cotton, and of course, you can tune into THV 11 as we head to the general election. We will keep our eyes open for the other candidates in the room and see how they're feeling as we get those results to come in. For now, though, in Little Rock, I'm Journey Taylor, THV 11 News.
All right, thank you, Journey. We're getting some other results coming in too.
We do indeed. We've got calls now for French Hill. Will go on to the general election as the nominee once again for a 9th term in the House of Representatives, representing the district here in the middle of the state for House District number 2. And the other call came in. We've seen Fred Love is now, you had that one over
Fred
a
Love
while
and
ago.
Chris Jones.
And Chris Jones now, all called in these races. They were facing token pressure here in this primary, and now the focus for them turns to what they might be able to do heading towards November. It'll be interesting to see for Hallie Shoffner whether or not she's really garnered attention. She's gotten a lot of people to notice her. She's taking one of those campaigns that's very active on social media, and that's won some votes in ways that Democrats have been winning races in other parts of the country. Will it work here? She faces a formidable test, taking on Tom Cotton, who is now speaking in front of his supporters there at the Republican headquarters.
A much safer and more secure America. Our troops in the region will be much safer and more secure, and Iran's conventional military power and its nuclear program will be completely destroyed. Like President Trump, I also hope that the Iranian people are able to rise up and reclaim their freedom and restore their destiny, and that Iran can live in the future as a normal nation that is friendly towards the United States and towards its neighbors in the region. And I want to join with all Arkansans in praying for our troops and wishing them every success in this vital mission to protect our national security.
With that being said, a lot of folks have some national security concerns. What do you have to say to address those?
I understand that people may be concerned about the risk of a protracted war. I think we've seen from President Trump over his 2 terms now, whether it was the strikes to kill the leader of ISIS or Iran's terrorist mastermind in 2020, the raid to apprehend Nicolas Maduro, an indicted drug trafficker, the strikes on Iran's nuclear weapons programs last summer, that he does not want a long, protracted war. He wants an overwhelming use of force that hits Iran as hard as we can, as fast as we can, with as much as we can, to achieve our vital national security objectives, which is the total elimination of its missile forces, which threaten our troops in the region and everywhere from Europe to the Indian Ocean, and ultimately could threaten us here in the United States as they work towards an intercontinental missile. And that's why I say I think this will be longer than days, but I don't think you're going to see it dragging on for months, because frankly, we now have air superiority over Iran. Our pilots, Israel's pilots, and increasingly Arab pilots and Arab armies are able to target Iran's missiles and their drones and their manufacturing sites in a way that will finally eliminate that threat to the civilized world.
Senator, with most conflicts that involve Israel and the United States, we see protests that allege war crimes, mistreatment of civilians. Yet the Islamic Republic of Iran has suppressed its committed atrocities against civilians, primarily women. The Ayatollah, we're talking about someone who institutionalized abuse and oppression against their own people. Yet we see no outrage against the regime in Iran here in the United States like we did the protests in Gaza. Can you explain why this has turned into a bipartisan issue?
Well, unfortunately, it's pretty typical that the radical left in America only protests America and our friends, like Israel, and they remain silent on our adversaries, like Iran. Iran is one of the world's worst human rights violators. They've done it again and again and again over the last 47 years. But you don't see, for instance, campus radicals erecting tent cities on their lawns. You don't see people shutting down traffic on interstate highways. But you're right that Iran it has a terrible human rights record, far worse than any other country in the region. And what I think you've seen around the world is opinion rallying to the side of the United States. Again, Iran lashed out and indiscriminately targeted civilians in countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Jordan, not military bases, but hotels and apartment buildings. And rather than pleading for peace, those Arab nations asked for targeting information from the United States because they want to join in this campaign to finally rid themselves of the grave threat that the revolutionary Islamic Republic of Iran has posed since 1979.
And you've done a lot of work with cybersecurity, with our border security. Talk to me about, you just got another ticket punch for the November election. If you were to win that election, what would be your main focus moving forward in this next term that you would serve?
Well, the government's first focus always has to be to keep our people safe, whether that's here in Arkansas, our local governments and our state government keeping our streets safe from crime, or in Washington, D.C., keeping us safe from foreign threats or the threats of terrorism or cyber threats. So as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee and a senior member of the Armed Services Committee, on the front of my mind will always be keeping our country safe. But of course, safety is not enough. We want our people to live prosperous lives where they can improve the quality of their lives, where their kids can get ahead. So we're working on bringing costs down for working Arkansans, getting money back in their pockets with our big Working Families Tax Cut Act so they can deal with a higher cost of living thanks to Joe Biden's rampant inflation, and making sure that they have quality education, quality health care. So it's always the first focus of government to keep our citizens safe, but it's not the final or the highest and most important purpose of government.
And Senator, some say that these strikes happened without a formal vote from Congress or anything, and some of your delegation also agreeing with that. Should the president now seek authorization for this?
I think the president has inherent constitutional authority to protect our people, our territory, our troops, and the evidence was clear. And I can tell you, as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, the evidence was clear. Iran was preparing to retaliate against the United States no matter what happened in the Middle East, no matter whether we worked with Israel to eliminate that threat or whether Israel worked to eliminate the missile threat alone. President Trump said that today. So I think it was the responsible step to try to protect our troops and make sure that we could finally eliminate the threat that Iran's vast missile program posed to them and really posed to the entire civilized world. There's a long history of presidents taking such action. In fact, there's a long history of them taking such action in this part of the world. Thomas Jefferson went after the Barbary pirates of Libya more than 200 years ago. And for that matter, Barack Obama launched a war to topple Muammar Gaddafi in Libya 15 years ago without a vote of Congress, and I don't remember some of those Democrats complaining back then the way they are right now. So I think the president has all the authority he needs to protect the country from the revolutionary regime in Iran.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
I hope this was.
All right, there we go. We hear Senator Tom Cotton, now nominated officially to go for another term there. And as you might expect, as the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, a speech or a news conference there that dealt entirely in foreign policy.
Yeah, it sure did.
In marked contrast to his opponent now for November, who focused on issues here in Arkansas. It will be interesting to see if those two campaign themes get any closer and whether one has to answer questions in the other person's lane as this gets closer.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I mean, we've heard Hallie Shoffner say over and over again she wants to lower the cost of living for working families. She is so passionate about farmers. You know, she was a farmer herself. I think her family farm shut down about a year ago. So she knows how difficult it is to be a farmer. And obviously agriculture, it's one of our biggest industries here in Arkansas, if not the biggest.
It'll be the hard part for her is going to be that a lot of those farmers are supporters of her opponent,
Yes.
of Tom Cotton, and it'll be interesting to see if her message of he's too focused on what's going on in Iran and Israel, it is not focused enough on
The people right
farmers here,
Yeah.
whether that will score any points.